Hello and welcome to Foundations of Reading. We're going to continue talking about our different syllable patterns and some of our rules of spelling this lesson. Let's just start with some of a warm-up from our list of academic vocabulary and just refresh on what we talked about in last class, that in this process that we will learn, we should pay attention to each letter of every word, and we should divide the word up into its syllables in order to decipher a word, in order to figure out a word. We should also look for smaller words within larger words and prefixes and suffixes that are used over and over. So in the first word, if you had time to look at it, there are, it's accent, right? Accent. Like I have a weird accent, or you might have a southern accent, right? And then the second word is a compound word made of two shorter words, lifestyle. So the first word is made of two CVC syllables. That's why it has short vowel sounds. It has 6 letters, 4 consonants, 2 vowels, and 2 syllables. And each of those syllables are CVC syllables, like we talked about last week. In lifestyle, we have 2 words. Each of these are 1-syllable words that are making up this compound word. And we don't hear this E, right? So we've marked this E now, but as we go through class, we'll mark it slightly differently to show that we don't hear it. So we have a vowel, then a consonant, then the silent E on both of these words, life and style. We have 9 letters in lifestyle, 5 consonants, 4 vowels, and 2 syllables. So we just want to look at these patterns regularly as we are going through the material in this class, because if we know the different syllable patterns, we can read any words, such as anti-disestablishmentarianism, right? So the rule for a CVC syllable is that it has 1 vowel and it ends in a consonant. So it can have 2 letters. As long as the consonant's at the end, it will still have a short vowel sound, right? You can also have 2 consonants at the end. That's okay. It will still have a short vowel sound. But this open syllable, the VCE syllable, and the vowel, the VV syllable, vowel and vowel side by side, those are not CVCs. But with the CVC, we can be mostly certain that the vowel will have a short vowel sound, right? So we'll go through these quickly. All of these words here, we'll ask, do they fit the pattern? You can put it on pause if you want, but you will find that they all do. They have 1 vowel and they end in a consonant. Even this one that has 5 letters, that's okay. It just matters that you have 1 vowel and it ends in a consonant. Maybe put this one on pause, though, because some of these are tricky. Are all of these CVCs? Okay. Did you get the answers right? Okay. We'll go over those in class. Also in class, we will go over this. You can copy them down, put it on pause. I'm just going to go through the answers real quick, but it is the activity from our book, and it lets us practice identifying CVCs, right? So when we're looking at these regular prefixes and suffixes that are used over and over again, this will help increase our fluency to know what these suffixes mean. So modify, modern, and mod, we'll talk about this in class. They all have the same root, right? The same prefix. There's another common prefix, trans. We could have transit or transfer. There's a lot of words that have the word trans in it. You know, can you think of some more? We'll talk about that in class. And then we know this family, we'll know these words are related. The main thing that this book talks about, these lessons talk about, is our process for breaking words into pieces. So if we can look at a long word that might be confusing, if we break it into pieces, it's going to be a lot easier to read, such as this word, discredit, right? Okay, also in these lessons, we'll be covering the different spelling rules, 5 of the most popular spelling rules. And so we'll start here with spelling rule number 1. And when we're dealing with these CVC words, if it ends in the letter S, F, or L, the final consonant is doubled, right? So that's why there are 2 S's on glass, right? This goes on to relate to some other spelling rules, but it's important to put those 2 S's there because it'll affect the spelling later if you don't, when you modify the word. So with S, F, or L, we have to put 2 S's. There's 3 exceptions to this rule, is, gas, and pal, but most of the time the rule holds, right? So that's a spelling rule that ends in S, F, or L, double that final consonant. All right, so in class, we'll do a little bit of practice on this. We will find some words that rhyme with each of these. What are our words here? Right? And as we modeled in class, you can just go up to these letters up top and just throw them in. You can just be like skis, shis, slis, split, spis, stis, swiss. There's the word Swiss, right? And just do that. This is a good practice to go through the letter sounds. And it's like a mental exercise in spelling, okay? All right. Also in class, we'll check a little bit of spelling and applying these rules. So I'll just throw these up real quick and then we'll hide them. All right. And then we are going to do a little bit of smooth reading. We'll read this before class, and in class we'll take some turns. These are the main multi-syllable words that are in the story on the next slide. We have velvet, princess, double S's, zipper, magnet, admit, fantastic, plastic, and ribbon. All right. So read this story over to yourself. Just like your Sade. Read it over smooth. And then look at the words and put some dividing lines in there. All right. And then hopefully we'll have time to just look at some of our keywords. This will be a pretty quick review, just looking at the and sounds in words, looking a little bit at compound words, and looking at some of the other spelling rules. So we have double L's here, and the next spelling rule we'll have is a CK rule. In our story, we'll divide up the words into the different vowel categories, and then we'll look at some of our root words to just get our sounds right for the I, and then we will look at the and the All right, and then after we do that, we're going to talk about 2 more of our spelling rules. It's not really a spelling rule, but tips for CVC words. And that tip will be that when the CVC word ends in a ch sound, we use a TCH ending. So that's how come catch is spelled with a T, even though you don't hear it. It's catch. There's not a T sound in there. It's a silent T. This is the same for the word match and ditch. And then the other important thing we'll look at is with CVC words that end in the K sound, that we have to use the CK. And so that's how come we have words like sock and rick and back, right? And then the last one we'll look at is the J sound. So we make the J sound at the end of a word using DGE. So words like badge, ridge, and lodge, there's 3 sounds there, right? L-O-J is the sound, lodge, badge, but we don't, that DGE gets all combined together to make the one sound. So that's an important spelling rule that a lot of people find tricky. So we will look at those 3 spelling rules. We'll review the SS, FF, and LL doubling spelling rule. We'll do a little bit of spelling check. And then we'll read one more story. So read this here to yourself, which this shows us some of these unique spellings in practice. And we'll make sure we're comfortable with all of these words. And then that will be the end of the lesson for next week. A lot to do. Read over these slides, answer the questions in the quiz, and hope to see you in class on Tuesday and Thursday, 3 to 5. All right, bye, y'all.